Going on, world? How y'all doing, man? Hopefully a lot of motherfuckers check into this shit. Today my discussion is basically going to be on is the world round or is it flat? Is it a globe? Is it a plateau or a plane? Now, when I, like before I even really get into some other shit, it could be either or it could be neither. Or it could be both, really. It could be like a round surface that's flat, right? Or it could be basically a ball that is like a cube on every side, or it could just be flat, or it could just be round. I mean, let's get down to it. Really, if you're not really somebody that has like billions of dollars to really do the research in like endless amount of time, unless you're a motherfucker that can really honestly study this shit in totality when it comes to archaeological understanding of it, or a geographic. That's a better word. A geographic standpoint in which you have all the tools and whatnot to really study it. How could you really know? And then what does it really matter if the Earth is round or flat? Now Joe Rogan just did a video basically saying like what would be the reason for them to behind the demise of the Earth being round, even though it's flat. What would be the reason behind that? And somewhat I do agree with that. Why? But then there are reasons behind that. Basically, it just comes down to simple mind control and basically controlling where you think you live and how you think you live every day, which has a big influence on the mind. There are certain small tactics that just flashing you a certain color when a movie is on. Nigga would say, well, why the fuck would they show you red at this part when somebody's about to get killed or love? Well, there's a science behind that. So there's a science behind why they would do that. But in the same sense, that is almost a good argument to ask, like, what's really the fucking reason that they would lie about the Earth being, what was the deception and, what was the meaning for the switch? Because they used to believe that it was flat. So why would they now tell you that it's round? You could argue that, but like I said, there are reasons, and at the same time, it wouldn't make sense to most people. Now you gotta understand this. Like I say this all the time. Danny need to, what I'm saying, coin this phrase. Basically, you gotta understand two sides of a coin to understand the coin in totality. The properties of like what it means to land on heads and what it means to land on tails. There's most definitely something to that. You have to understand. Like if somebody has an argument, right? Let's say your mom and your father has an argument somewhere, and they end up getting a divorce, and you want to know what's going on. Naturally, you're gonna talk to both people, right, to see what the father says and what your mom says. You're gonna talk to both people to figure out what points or whatever, and then you're gonna make your assumption off of that. Your assessment's gonna be based off of what the information that you gather from both of those. It's called being a scientist of the just being a scientist of the universe. Having a theory, testing your theory. Seeing how your theory coagulates in different conditions and and under different circumstances, like understanding the waves of water, jumping into a pool and observing the waves, or having somebody jumping and observing the waves, and then putting the water in a bucket of water and see how it observes in a bucket of water. It's two different things, like over a big area, a vast area, and then like a small radius of a bucket. So, you gotta look at things from both sides. And I try to be a mediator. I don't really have a side when it comes to, I do have a side when it comes to stuff, obviously, because I'm going to come to a consensus about what I think about this, that, and the third, and all that type of shit. But at the same time, I try to look at both sides to understand what's going on with that. Now, on the round side of things, basically, they're saying that the Earth is round because basically, well, I don't really know why they say that really as much. From basic knowledge that we have, like they say the Earth is round because of the curvatures and stuff like that you get when you get to a certain point, and it basically curves. My hair is all fucked up. I need to get these motherfuckers twisted, but it basically curves in certain areas, and there's certain vast whatever's of water, areas of water that would basically seem to show that maybe the Earth might be on a round ball. And then there's information that says the Earth is flat. Now, what I'm saying is, this is the thing. Like, what do I believe? To be honest with you, I don't know which one I believe. Is the Earth round or flat? There's convincing evidence on both sides that says that the Earth is round, and also that the Earth is flat. You know, when you wake up every day, on the flat side, when you wake up every day, everything does look flat. Everything looks flat to you. You're walking on a flat plateau. Like your feet is flat on the ground, and no matter where you go, you don't curve off the earth. That's what some people would say. Well, you would curve off the earth if the earth was round. You could fall off. Well, people say the same thing about if it was flat. You could walk off the earth. Now, basically, I don't really have a standpoint on that as much because I don't really have the technology to really study that, like, altogether. We can always only speculate. Like, even, just to go into history right quick for a little minute, even history, like, to be honest with you, people say the Moors were this and the Moors were that, the Moors were conquerors, the Moors were the original black people. Not to say that it's not, but what I'm saying is when it comes to history, you never really know. And when it comes to certain things about the galaxy, you never really know. And I'm one to believe that certain things are not supposed to be found out while you're on Earth. That's why the creator, you know, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't allow for you, the creator of this matrix, of this simulation, doesn't allow for you to do certain things. Maybe at this time, or maybe you never could. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, to argue, we could fly. It's like, that's cool, but how do you really know that? Like, how could you really know? Like, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so funny to me when people argue about stuff that happened in the past or stuff that they can't theorize. They can only theorize. They can't theoretically prove it. You know what I'm saying? But they have, like, they get into a big argument about it, and they're damn near going down each other's throats, like, to prove their point. And it's like, well, some of this shit you can't really prove. Like, the Anunnaki and all that type of stuff, you can't really exactly prove, you know what I'm saying, like, what it was with that, how it was started, how whatever. Like, you can't prove that. Like the Bible, you, like, yeah, you could see, and this is the biggest thing that people that read the Bible and followers of Christianity, they do. They say, well, it's all coming true right now. Well, that could just be the Bible could also be like a blueprint. You see what I'm saying? Like, it could be like a master plan that is being basically shown in front of you, is being basically drawn out for you as the painting is drawn. Basically, doesn't mean just because somebody drawing a painting they had a vision about it. They could have just drew that off the spot. Well, I mean the other way about it. I meant the other way. They could have had a vision about that, or they should already know what they're going to draw and draw it. That's how the future, in my opinion, is being played out. The Bible is a blueprint for what is to follow, and maybe so-called secret societies are just, they know the Bible well, or they have scholars that know the Bible, and basically what they're doing is making revelations true. That's very true. Like, I don't understand how people don't understand that. They're like, well, it's this prophecy, and this happened, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Well, that prophecy is also telling you that, damn, it's been damn near okay for you to court a child at 12 years old. You know, a young girl, after she's reached her period, she's ready to fucking have sex with. Like, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about, bro. You know, you can't pick and choose your truth. So same thing with flat earth and the round earth. It's like, some of this shit you can't really prove. You just can't prove it, like, unless you can fly to the top of the galaxy like this white dude's about to do. Whoever he is, shout out to that nigga, because he really trying to get to the shit. There's a lot more than what some of you niggas is doing. Not to give him, you know, that nigga too much fucking credit, because I don't even know who the fuck he is. But, you know, he's about to actually try to fly out with a rocket and actually prove that the earth is flat. Now, that's some real nigga shit, to be really honest with you. Not speculating off of some shit that you read on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't really, I can't really even have a consensus on that, to be really honest with you, because I can't prove neither side of the coin. I can't even really prove that you know what I'm saying? Most of you niggas still live in New York, or you live in fucking California, you live in Las Vegas, and you walking around talking about, oh, the earth is this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really know, even if, and it's a thing, like, especially if you say, okay, well, we know they lied to us about stuff, right? So why wouldn't they lie about the earth being flat? Well, the information that you're about to fucking present to me is the same information that, you know, the same motherfuckers that made the earth flat and give you all that knowledge on Google. You're looking up on Google to find your fucking information. It's just like, it's contradictory to what, you know what I'm saying, it really is. So we really don't know. That's my consensus on that. You'll never really know if the earth is flat or round. But if somebody had to ask me to pick a side, that's a hard one. Maybe the earth is flat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want to contradict myself right now, but maybe it is flat. If you look at it, the earth is flat when you look at the ground, and when you're looking straight ahead, it's flat. Now people have an argument about the sun going down, but it doesn't really go down, it just gets smaller because it's going way further away from the earth. Again, we can't really do the science on that to understand it. And when you're presenting information from people that you don't know their agenda, you got to really be, speculatory on what their agenda is to give you this type of knowledge. So until we can really do the science ourselves, Earth being flat, Earth being round, you could dead all that shit because you'll never fucking really know. Even if you got all the knowledge, you read all the books you need to know about the flat Earth, and you're so convinced, you read all the shit you know about the motherfucking Earth being round, and you like hella convinced, and you think you got it, you're getting this information from somebody else. Unless you do the field work yourself, you'll never really know. And to some extent, seeing is not even all the way, always believing. Like, you could do the field work, and your calculations could be correct, but somebody could do the same calculations and get a different, hypothesis from what you just got. So, and it really comes down to truth. I guess I'll get into truth right now. Truth is only kind of basically based off of a person. It's based, there is a final truth to things like, no, this is what really happened. That's what really happened. But some things you really can't, like how the Earth was if the first civilization on Earth was the Sumerians, it's like, how could you really know? Not to say don't study it and don't try to, educate yourself on it, but how could you really know if the first people of the Earth were fucking Sumerians? I mean, really, how could you, besides like people say, yep, the Sumerians were the first, and then people like they so-called debunk that with some other information saying that people were around before them. I do believe that the Sumerians might have been the first of civilization, but not of the world. Being the first of civilization and being the first in this planet is two totally different things. Civilization is the start of what we live in today, when everybody is basically governed by a higher power, or what they think is a higher power, the government or whatever the fuck you want to call them, that has a civilization, like they're civilized in a civilization. That's what basically my take of a civilization is. It's the start of the world, which is not necessarily the start of the galaxy, but just the start of the new world. That's why they call it the New World Order, because it's the start of basically civilization held by a dictatorship or whatever the fuck it is. Not just people living and doing what they fucking do. That was before civilization, if you understand what the fuck I'm talking about. So, that you really, certain things you could study it, and if it resides within you, I say go with it 100%. But some things we can't get 100% truth on. I don't give a fuck how much research you do. You're not going to be able to get 100% on were blacks first. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe that we might have been. I do believe, maybe that's just only my belief. I'm not saying like it's fact. I do believe that there's some type of divine force with black people and having, being around before others, maybe. But some people say we were all born at the same time. Again, I can't go back in time to figure that out. I just can't do it. So you can't figure out if the earth is round or flat, really, unless you have all the knowledge you need. And like I said, even if you do have all the stuff to study it, your perception sometimes can lie to you. What you see in front of you, like, basically can lie to you. That's not really 100% it totality. I personally believe that you won't really understand everything about this galaxy until you're a spirit. I believe when you die, you become a spirit. I don't know exactly how it goes, but from what my spirit tells me is you might be able to roam this realm, the earthly realm, in another, basically in another dimension, and kind of see everything that happened. Maybe go back and pass as a spirit and see stuff without actually physically being there. And of course, I do believe that you can go to other dimensions and other galaxies. I definitely believe that, like, straight up. You know what I'm saying? So, some of this stuff I don't really, and then I don't think that the mind is designed to understand things. Like, for somebody to totally think that they understand what God is telling them and what God is blah, 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 like, you can't really know that, because if God is beyond this place and it doesn't have a brain like we do, because we're a lower physicality of our God self or our God, or whatever you want to believe, you being a God, even you being a God, you can't understand exactly what it is, because like Panic says all the time, shout out to that nigga again, because that nigga always be dropping the science, you're basically a sleeping giant. So even what you see and what you think you're getting from the spirit is still kind of tainted, because you're still kind of sleeping. You don't really wake up, I believe, until you die. And when you go into a higher realm, again, this is not really living. You're asleep the whole time you're here. Even if you come to the highest point of consciousness, I don't believe that you'll ever be awake enough to, like, you know what I'm saying? But this is a vast place and a lot of stuff going on. So you could get to a place where your spirit is alive and woken and you're still alive in a body. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say no, hell no to that. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just what it is on a bigger scale, man, of like what it really is and what your perception can perceive, because I do believe that everything is all the mind. Because even if you're talking from a scientific point of view, the mind is what you see every day, what you experience is nothing but, electrical currents, telling you that telling me that I'm holding my phone right now, or that I'm in my kitchen. You know what I'm saying? For what we call as a kitchen. It's only electrical currents that tell the brain that you're doing this, that, and the third. Even to go to sleep, it's currents in your brain that says, okay, time to go to sleep. And then once you allow that to happen, you go to sleep. It's only what your mind really perceives. So, I don't really know, man. For all I know, we could we ain't on a globe. We're not on a globe or a flat fucking plateau. We could be like in a total different thing from that. It might be neither one of those. It might be both of those. And that's what I'm saying, man. So, shout out to B.O.B. because, this nigga, you know what I'm saying? He doing his damn thing right now when it comes to the consciousness. Like, B.O.B. is really, he's really, you really don't expect some niggas to be so conscious. Like, I mean, I never was really into B.O.B.'s music as much. But that nigga, he became very conscious with the stuff that he's talking about. Like, that nigga, you know what I'm saying? He knows some shit. I don't think he knows everything, but he definitely knows some shit. He knows what the fuck he's talking about on certain things. So yeah, man, it's just it's all perception, man. And sometimes seeing is not really all the way believing, because you could see something and then not really be there, or not there in this realm or in this dimension, since we're in the third. You might be seeing something from the fourth dimension, but technically it's not here because it's not in this dimension. You see what I'm saying? So it's seeing is somewhat believing, but seeing is not always believing, though. That's just my opinion. It's not always believing because you see some shit. You know what I'm saying? Your mind might be so-called playing tricks on you. You might be seeing something that's in a whole different realm from this one. So, is it round? Is it flat? And then, like I say all the time to motherfuckers, I'm about to try to cook this chicken and shit. And my bad if I kind of scatterbrain sometimes, because I be having a lot of stuff on my mind, a lot of things on my, whatever, my processor, But, what the fuck was I saying? Like I tell people nowadays, how does that really help you, though? So you figured out that the earth is flat, right? You got past the deception. What does that do for you or black people? What does that really do? How does that help you out now? You figured that shit out, right? So how the fuck you gonna feed your 3 kids? Really? That's my thing. How does that really help you that the earth is flat now? You figured it out. Oh my God. You gonna take down the Illuminati now for lying to you about it? What the fuck you gonna really do about that? That's why these arguments, in my opinion, are minute, because it's they're just mute points. It's what's the point of really arguing that and going ham on the flat earth theory? Not to say don't learn it and don't get into it, but what does it do for you? You figured it out, right? So how do you change the globe so that we all know that we don't live on a globe? What the fuck? How does that, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck does that even really do for people, black people, white people, whatever the fuck you are? What does that do for niggas? Black people nowadays, what does that do for you that you figured out that the earth is flat? Great. Now what? You know what I'm saying? Gonna be a millionaire off of that? How? You probably could, but you know what I'm saying? What does that really do? So that's why I don't really even argue about that shit too much. Cause it's okay, the earth is flat. Great. Now what do we do? Now how can you get niggas out the ghetto shooting themselves over fucking bags of cocaine? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about that. I don't really know what that really does for people. How does that really, you know what I'm saying? How you gonna change the world because the earth is flat now? What does that do? For real, you gonna just become a prophet in one day? You got $1 million because you figured that out? What does it do? You know what I'm saying? So I don't waste my time on stuff like that. More tangible things, in my opinion, is magic, trying to figure out, okay, what type of magic should we get into? What were the ancestors doing? What was the magic they was fucking with that had them in a place of, superiority or whatever the fuck you want to say? How can we get niggas back to how it's supposed to be? But once again, Panic says, I don't even really think it's about trying to get all black people to be on the same plane. I just don't think so. On the same mental plane, I don't really think so, because you know what I'm saying? That's almost a battle. That's a losing battle right there, bro. People are becoming more conscious every day. I definitely would have to agree with that, especially my generation. I'm 26, so the baby boomers or whatever the fuck they are, niggas from the 90s and the 80s. Well, more in the 80s, but more down in the 90s and up. I kind of feel every generation kind of kind of like advances itself. Not to say that we're better than the last generation. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we kind of come into this with a different mindset. We have different tools to use to further our ability to think. You know what I'm saying? Like the internet. You know, these kids nowadays, I wasn't like, I got the internet later on in life. I got the internet like 6 years old, but I really got the internet when I was like 15. You know, yeah, that's when I was really like, okay, this is an everyday thing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but now the younger kids are kind of, they start off with like the best computers, the fucking phones, and a blah blah blah, yada yada yada. And to some extent, I definitely believe that we are in the age of Aquarius when it comes to stuff. I know this is going past the flat Earth thing, but like I said, I obviously got a lot of stuff I want to like get off my chest, and I usually just get off in one video. Like this one chick was like, "Stay on point with the. What are you talking about? Stay on, bitch. Get the fuck out of here!" Like I'm saying a whole bunch of fucking different shit because that's on my fucking mind. Now the pinpoint for the video is the flat Earth shit. I know that, but I still talk about a lot of other shit. You know what the fuck? But yeah, man. Like, you know, I forgot what the fuck I was saying, but you know, hopefully, you know, people watch the video and they like it and they subscribe to the video. I know it's a little ghetto with my phone and shit. You know, if I start getting enough views and shit, I'm gonna get like a real camera to do this shit. But yeah, man, you never really know. And then how does it help you once you figure it out? What does it do for you? So that's just my points on that shit. I might try to do a video on some other shit, like, you know, understanding God and the Creator if you can, understanding it enough. You know what I'm saying? Now I can get into that a little bit, like, you know, Bobby really used to teach a lot. And like I said, I don't follow everything these niggas say. Anything that resonates with me is what I kind of go with. And if I see it, not exactly seeing it with my eyes and perception, but if I see it and feel it, I go with it. And if it feels right for me, I do it. That's how everybody should do. They live their life. But Bobby kind of says that basically the creator of this world is not really for you. The God is and this is also Brother Sanchez, shout out to that nigga somewhat. He says the same thing. It's all about basically like the Leviathan. What am I trying to say? The Great Mother. Now, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I believe that the Great Mother is a good in you. I believe that the Great Mother is like, is your positive side. I think the negativeness that we see every day is basically might be the creator that enslaved the Great Mother down here. When heaven, so-called, the realm of heaven was, you know, when she was killed out of heaven and sprinkled down here, that's the whole thing between the devil and, you know, that's like that was a decoded message for the Leviathan, the Great Mother, which is basically the snake or the wound of the earth, all that type of shit. She's basically the snake that, if I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I think she's a snake that wraps around the fucking, when you go to the hospital. She's a snake. That's the snake. That's really you, really, to be really honest with you. Not to say you're a woman, but her energy. And I believe that her energy is the positiveness in you. And the negativeness might be the creator of this realm that put us all down here in the body, because you got to understand this. Just to get I know I'm off topic, but I'm probably going to leave like a couple different things in the description for the video, so y'all niggas won't be saying, I thought this was about the flat earth. You know what I'm saying? The creator of this universe, yeah, I be thinking about a lot of shit, and I smoke bud too, so you know how that goes. Yeah, the creator of this universe, basically was like the child of the mother, supposedly, and overthrew the mother in the realm of heaven and sprinkled her down here, and created the Titans, and then man and all that type of shit, and woman, and then man and all that type of shit there. So you gotta understand, a lot of the information that you get is false. Like women did not come from man. Like I said, I can't go back in time to fucking show you this shit, so you don't have to look at it and take it for face value. Just take it for face value. But I definitely don't believe that the man started a woman. You gotta use common sense, because how can a man start a woman and the woman is the only one that can have a child in her womb and actually give birth to it? Like, really though, that doesn't even make any sense, you know, conducive to what we do and see every day. That it makes no sense. A woman came from a man's rib. No, that shit sounds like some motherfucking made up fucking plot for a bad movie. Like, come on, bro. Like, that shit is crazy. Like, I don't know, you know, but there's some misogynistic ass men that really believe that we really run this bitch, because we do now. But you can't get shit. You want to start a family, you can't do nothing without a woman, bro. You can't do nothing without it. If a woman really wanted to, on some nowadays shit, you can go to the hospital, get a damn seed up in her ass, and have a child without no damn nigga. You can't do that. You got to find you a woman to stick your dick in. That's period. That's what it is. So I don't know about, I do kind of damn near believe there's some sense the black woman is God and all that type of shit that niggas love to fucking say. But at the same sense, maybe just woman itself is God. Even, I guess you could say white people too. They of course, because they have the same ability. They can give birth to a child. How can we do that? We cannot do that. There's no way for us to do that. Homosexuals and shit like that, they're still trying to find a way to let them have a child in their womb and all that type of shit. Shit, it's crazy world. Then stuff changes. The paradigm of shit changes. So maybe one day that would be possible, but I doubt it. I seriously fucking doubt. I doubt that. The backbone of the universe basically would be the woman. Basically, like, you about to go outside, knock a nigga fucking head off. Your woman would be the voice of reason. Basically, you need her to be there. She can not just for her to clean your clothes and wash the dishes and all type of stupid shit niggas love to say. She's supposed to be in the kitchen with a skirt on. Get your dumb ass out of here. You sound like a fool, bro. But anyways, that's what that is, man. Like, I just, got into that a little bit. The creator and basically how the woman is basically more of a creator than man could ever be. Since man has been taking over shit, we've been fucking shit completely the fuck up. I don't give if I'm a man, but I'll still say that fucking shit. We've been fucking shit up ever since we've been in power. And to somewhat, shout out to my nigga, not gonna say to somewhat, but shout out to Sanchez. Some stuff I agree with that nigga, but shout out to brother Sanchez. Yeah, like, it's more about damn near her story before his story. I definitely gotta agree with that on, when he says that shit, most def. Yeah, man, so, that's just what it is with the creator and woman's, energy, basically. And basically, from what I've hearing, what I've heard, now I can't be inside of your stomach when a bitch is pregnant, but we all started out as a woman anyways. We started as a Y and we turned into an X. So I'm not sure how true that. I'm not sure how true that is, but that would make sense to me, basically, because you come from a woman. You know what I'm saying? So basically, everybody's male and female at the same time. It's like you have male and female components to your body: the pituitary and the pineal. Pineal is the male, pituitary is the female. In your, up here, your brain, your third eye, all that type of shit is connected to each other. So, that's just what that is, man. Like, hopefully y'all like the video. My last video, motherfuckers did not really check it out like that. And I'm sitting there wondering, like, damn, what the fuck? But I'm gonna put this shit on that, definitely on that Occult Tees, the little page and shit I'm on and shit I fuck with heavy. I'm gonna put this shit on the Bobby page, put this shit on YouTube. If y'all like what I'm saying, go to the YouTube page, Dr. Mercury. Or if you can't find it like that, just type in Rude, R-U-D-E, Death of a Templar. Or just put in D-O-A-T. I'd also work on music, so you'll find all my shit there. Hopefully y'all like what the fuck I'm saying. Peace, my niggas.